The royal family's adventure, the lost son and the ice cave. Once upon a time, in a grand castle nestled beside a big lake called the Big Blue, lived a loving royal family. The family was led by a wise queen, a beautiful and gentle-hearted ruler, and her husband, a strong king, known for his courage and storytelling. Their two children were 5-year-old Princess Elsa, with her bouncy pigtails and a heart full of kindness, and her older 7-year-old brother, Sir Lucas, a brave young knight. They were a very happy family, and their castle life was full of joy and adventure. One morning, the queen, the king, and the children were eating breakfast in their great hall when they heard a crying sound from the mountaintop. The king smiled and looked up. "That's Fyodor," he said. "A friendly, but a lonely dragon who lives in the cave at the top of that mountain. His best friend, a dragon named Goliath, had to leave to help build a new castle in a far-off kingdom. Goliath is strong and great at carrying all the big rocks, but now Fyodor misses him very much." Princess Elsa looked at her brother, tilting her head to the side. "He sounds so sad," she whispered. Lucas, his eyes wide with an idea, looked at his sister. "We can't just let him be lonely," he said. Their voices full of a shared purpose, they chimed in. "Let's go and say hello." The family put on warm cloaks and began their journey. They climbed high, guided by the queen's gentle direction and the king's steady stride. Soon they arrived at the mouth of the cave. Inside, they found a gigantic, sad-looking dragon named Fyodor, who sat alone amidst sparkling jewels. "Hello," Elsa whispered. Fyodor raised his head, his large, curious eyes examining the small family. "We have come to play with you," Sir Lucas said bravely. And so they taught the dragon the most fun and joyful dance anyone had ever seen. They hopped and twirled, their cloaks spinning and Fyodor's sad expression turning into a wide smile. Their cheerful laughter and dancing echoed down from the mountaintop, filling the air with joy. As the sun began to set, Lucas and Elsa told Fyodor he could come say hi anytime he liked, and that he was always welcome to visit their castle. The family then said goodbye to Fyodor, who promised to dance and watch over the castle. The castle dwellers slept happily that night, as the dragon watched over their fortress with a smile. The next day, the sun no longer warmed the castle walls. Instead, a cold wind blew, and a dark, gloomy sky covered the sun. "Oh no," the queen sighed. "Someone has stolen the Sunstone." The king explained to the children that the Sunstone, a magical gem, kept the whole kingdom warm and cheerful. According to the legend, a grumpy ice giant loves the cold and the dark, and lives in an ice cave behind the mountains, the king said seriously. The family knew what they had to do. "Let's ask Fyodor for help," Sir Lucas exclaimed, his eyes full of excitement. "He's a dragon. He can fly us there." The family quickly put on their warm clothes and hurried back up the mountain. Fyodor was overjoyed to see his new friends again. He listened intently as the king explained their quest, and with a brave nod, he knelt down. The king, queen, and the children climbed carefully onto Fyodor's sturdy back. With a mighty flap of his wings, the dragon lifted into the sky, soaring gracefully over the gleaming surface of the Big Blue Lake. It was a breathtaking journey. They soared above the snow-covered kingdom, the wind whipping through their cloaks. Their journey was not without its challenges. They had to fly through a swirling, freezing snowstorm and weave through jagged ice formations. The wind howled and tried to push them off course, but Fyodor flew with a steady grace, his warm breath keeping them safe. Lucas, with his brave spirit, held on tightly, his laughter echoing in the wind. The king, with his wise eyes, helped guide Fyodor through the toughest parts of the storm. Finally, they landed gently outside the ice giant's cave. The giant was truly grumpy and looked a little scary. But Princess Elsa remembered her mother's words. Kindness is the most powerful magic. She carefully extended her hand and offered the giant his favorite berries, found near the Sunstone. "These are delicious and full of sun, just like your Sunstone," she said. Surprisingly, the giant was not mean. His eyes, which were full of rain, softened. His hard, frozen heart began to melt from Elsa's kindness, and he realized his mistake. He gave the Sunstone back, and the king's kingdom was again filled with light and warmth. Upon their return, the entire kingdom cheered for their courage and kindness. The following day, something strange happened. As the sun set and the stars began to twinkle, the kingdom was silent. Not a single familiar lullaby was heard. The queen, who was used to hearing music every night, was worried. "The lullabies are gone," she sighed. "They help everyone sleep soundly." The family decided to track down the source of the music. They followed tiny, sparkling stardust particles that floated in the air like small, magical fairies. They led them to the heart of the forest, where a mischievous sprite was hiding. The sprite was not evil, but she had simply taken the music because she felt lonely and wanted to play. Sir Lucas and Princess Elsa understood the sprite immediately. "We will play with you," they said together, and they played with the sprite until they were both starting to get tired. The queen and the king told the sprite how important her music was, and how everyone missed her songs. The queen promised that they would come and play with her every now and then if she returned the music to the kingdom. "You don't have to be alone if you want to play," the queen said. The sprite's heart was filled with warmth, and she smiled, her tiny wings fluttering with excitement. "I will sing for you now and forever," she said. The sprite began to sing, and with her, the entire kingdom was once again filled with the gentle sounds of lullabies. After the music returned, the sprite, whose name was Pip, excitedly invited the family to stay with her for a while. "Please, stay for a little longer," she chirped. "I'll make you a delicious dinner." The family, still tired from their quest, agreed to stay. Pip led them to a hidden glade where she magically conjured a feast of sweet nectar from glowing flowers and tiny, delicious honey cakes. As they ate, feeling safe and cozy, Pip turned to the children. "Let me tell you a story," she whispered. "A long, long time ago, a little star lost his way and fell from the night sky. He landed right here, in this very glade. His twinkle was gone, and he was so sad. He felt like he would never shine again. But I, a tiny sprite, found him. I showed him how the moonbeams danced on the lake and how the fireflies sang in the trees. I showed him all the beautiful things that were right here, on the ground. And as he began to appreciate the little wonders of the world, his twinkle came back, brighter than ever. He flew back home, but he never forgot to appreciate the beauty on earth." The children were mesmerized. The queen and the king looked at each other with warm smiles, their hearts full. The night was dark, but the air was warm and peaceful. They all snuggled down together on soft moss, feeling safe and sound, and fell asleep to the gentle sound of Pip's new music box playing a sweet lullaby. The next day dawned, and the tired but happy family began their journey home. As they walked, they heard birds singing cheerful songs. But these were no ordinary songs. The birds were singing the same gentle lullabies that Pip the sprite had returned to the kingdom. It was as if the magic of the lullabies had filled the very air, and the birds were now sharing the sweet music with everyone. They felt happy and light as they walked, and as the sun began to set, they finally arrived back at their castle. In the fading evening light, as they sat together by the warm crackling fireplace, they talked about their incredible week. They talked about Fyodor the dragon and their great flight. They talked about their courage that helped them get the Sunstone back, and their kindness that melted the ice giant's heart. And they talked about the mischievous sprite who just wanted a friend. "We are the luckiest family in the world," Princess Elsa said, her heart full of gratitude. Sir Lucas nodded. "We are also the bravest family in the world," he added proudly. With their tummies full of the Queen's delicious dinner, they nestled into their own beds. They closed their eyes and had the most incredible dreams. They dreamt of flying on the back of the friendly dragon Fyodor, and saw themselves as incredibly brave as they flew through the swirling snowstorm and helped the ice giant. They dreamt of how their family had helped make the entire kingdom a peaceful and happy place. And the parents slept soundly, feeling safe and peaceful. Their hearts were full of love and pride. The end.